Hey everybody, it's me, Will.
I'm me, Kristen.
And we are back doing another live episode of Guide to the Unknown for everybody out there.
That's right.
In television land, we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nobody calls it that. You can say, hey, radio land, but not television land.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that weird?
Maybe talking about the airwaves?
Yeah, I guess so. Are we traveling over airwaves? We must be.
Yeah.
If people are using Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the airwaves.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
Come
how's
in.
it going?
Take a seat.
Yep. Get comfy.
Don't sit up in the nosebleeds. Come on down.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to be scared of.
When you're in an event.
Yes, I
and they
hate
go
it.
like,
It's so
come on,
awkward.
everybody. Come on. Come on, everybody. Move forward. Don't be afraid of each other.
No.
Come on, let's back
No,
forward.
it's awkward. Sit wherever you want to sit.
Yeah,
Hey,
sit wherever
guys.
you want. Sit in the back.
Yeah.
Hey, Tabitha Nibs. Hey, Mom. Diana, Miss Sweetie.
Hey,
What is
Mom.
going on, everybody?
Mama's loving the plaid.
Thank you.
I do too.
Mom.
It's a good look.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's finally cool enough that
For
I
you
can-
to wear your
I
plaid.
can, this is the one shirt with colors in it that I like wearing,
Yep.
but it's kind of thick.
Have you seen if they have it in other colors?
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Am I
You're
going
going to
to
get it?
pay
Oh, that is thick.
good money for them?
Yeah.
Of course not.
You should.
I typically don't like to wear stuff like this.
It's nice. I like it.
Red Jack, yo,
Hey,
Jason,
everybody.
hello. What's going on, folks?
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to get
Yep.
started in just a couple of seconds, and we would really appreciate it if you would share a link to this stream with other people out there who might enjoy it.
That's right.
Tonight we're going to talk about a topic that's in the news quite a bit.
Yes.
And is also, I think, a fan favorite character.
The Clown Prince of Crime.
Yeah, the Joker.
Yeah.
Kristen and I are going to get into his origins, basically every single possible place he ever popped up.
Yeah.
We can't cover literally everything, but we're going to cover a lot of the big stuff.
Yes.
We're going to see how far we go with it. But yeah, what are you all up to? Feel free to drop in the chat what you've been up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see the movie? Red Jack says, I thought the movie was ... Yeesh. That's a sufficient, solid review, I think. I saw the movie, and I don't think I'm done. I don't think that I'm like outside of that period of like, oh, I saw it and it was kind of like challenging and
Yeah.
weird. I don't know that I can give you my solid
It's still marinating.
stamp of a take. Yeah, it's marinating.
Yeah. I get that.
I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't. Saying I enjoyed it would be wrong.
Yeah.
It's a challenging, tricky movie.
Yeah. That sounds right.
I don't know about the controversy stuff though.
Yeah.
Diana says most of my friends were meh.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Interesting.
Ryan didn't really like it that much, my husband.
Oh, you saw it? Oh man.
Yeah.
I should have asked him. I wasn't originally planning to see the movie. I ended
Yeah.
up. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah. Why don't you share it up? I already shared.
Sure. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to share in a few places. I'm going to share on @GTTUpod, and I'm going to share on @TheMythTraveler.
Yep.
On Facebook and Twitter real quick. So give me
Cool.
a couple seconds, folks, and then we'll get into the show proper.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. There's a lot
Yes.
to talk about.
Yes.
So much so
We
that
think-
we are concerned about getting it all in.
I am 99% sure it's going to be a two-parter.
Yeah.
We both did research, but I have a lot of stuff. Will has a lot of stuff, and I know we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that we're going to get to all of it.
Well, who knows?
Which is fine.
Let's see how fast we move. I mean, a lot of my research is based on our like gut and
Just
and,
do youtube.com/talkbomb.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that.
A lot of your research is based on.
Uh,
Oh, Mom,
glancing
I forgot to
blows
bring
of
the
big stuff.
candle.
Oh, Kristen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Kristen.
I'll do it next time. Sorry, Mom.
Oh.
My mom got me these awesome candles for an early birthday present. My birthday is next month.
Hey,
as is
vamp a little
Will's.
bit. I'm gonna get that doggy.
Okay. And we really enjoy either watching QVC together or just perusing the website and looking at the clips. And these Luminara candles are on there, which are these fake candles, but like deluxe fake candles. I already have like cheapo fake candles from Amazon, and they had done the trick, but they weren't really doing it for me. So my mom showed me these, and I really, really liked them. She liked them as well, and she got them for me for my birthday. I set them up at home. I love them, and I was going to bring one of them to be like a set piece here, but I completely forgot. Or was I being too selfish because I love the candles so much for myself? I didn't want it out of the home. Hard to say. So yeah, Mom, I will have the Luminara candle prominently displayed next week. I totally forgot. I'm just so relaxed with them around that like my mind wasn't functioning the way that it should. So I didn't check that one off the to-do list. So let's see. Mom, do you have your candle lit? I certainly hope so. Creating a nice atmosphere for the show. So yeah, if you guys want to share it with people, you can have people come into the chat so you guys can talk amongst yourselves while we're doing the episode. It's fun. It's like a fun little community thing. So by all means, share the link. And or if you know somebody who's really into Batman or the Joker, it should be an interesting episode. Hey, KB. Will and I we'll get to it, but if you've been listening to the show for a while, you've probably heard us largely me drop a lot of Joker references, just like even tiny things. Almost, I feel like before, to say almost every show would be an exaggeration, but before a lot of shows, I go, and here we go. Doing a primo Heath Ledger imitation. We also do, just amongst the two of us, maybe on the show, a lot of It's Your Uncle Bingo, Time to Pay the Check, which is from Jack Nicholson's Joker. So he's really wormed his way in there. We haven't really integrated Jared Leto Joker into things as of now, nor Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but maybe we'll get there. Oh, good. You moved the candle down to be next to Phineas Brighttooth, who is a creepy little creature that I got my mom for her Halloween table display, which we call a tableau. Yeah. So Red Jack thinks the controversy was way overblown. Nice freak out internet. Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I can't really say. But I don't know. Even doing some research today, I saw that definitely that air of paranoia has affected some people. Like there was a theater somewhere that did a self-led walkout of the movie because somebody was acting squirrely.
What does that mean to act squirrely, do you think?
Well, I experienced somebody acting squirrely at a movie once, so I can tell you what freaked me out.
Okay.
Maybe I should say it on the show.
Really? Is it? It's
well,
not.
No, it's interesting, but
Okay.
like we're gonna talk about Joker stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey,
Facebook
Megan.
changed the way they do stuff. Allie just got home. There's a whole matzo ball of stuff.
Yeah, lots of
Trying to figure
action.
out. Yeah. How do I get to our page now?
Diane, I know Jack Nicholson is a primo Joker. I'm not totally sure who I think my favorite is. We're gonna talk favorites.
Why'd they change the way this works?
What are you trying to figure out?
Look at this. If I try to go to any other page, it only brings me to my personal page. You see, like, where's Guide to the Unknown? My 8 pages, nothing.
Your 8 pages. More?
See?
Or
Let me just
that
search
is
for
weird.
it.
Yeah.
It's being weird. Maybe Facebook is glitching. I'm not going to make it take too long. I'd rather get to the show.
That's fine. More clowns, you're killing me. Yeah, you know what? It's weird. I know I've talked about it before. I don't even totally think of he obviously is, but for some reason I don't even really totally think of the Joker as a clown. I don't know why. Like, even when I was like in the throes of being very weirded out by clowns, the Joker didn't like really scare me in that way. I don't know why I have that separation. It must just be convenience.
Did you remove me as
What?
like an admin?
No.
I don't believe you.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Sarah. I can just do it.
Yeah, it's being real weird.
It's weird.
Maybe it's Android. Wait. All right, I figured it out, and I'm
Okay.
not sure why it was different this time.
Okay.
I'm just going to make it the same thing so it's fast.
Yeah. Yeah, Megan's not really liking Joaquin's performance or Jared's. Yeah, you know, they're definitely breaking ranks in a variety of ways. So and we'll get into on the show, full disclosure, I have never, or I haven't seen Suicide Squad or the movie Joker, but I did a lot of research for my topic, and they definitely did some wild stuff. Oh, hey, Kaylee. Good, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. Dear David, I know.
Let's hope that he doesn't attack us tonight.
Yeah. That could be what's going on with your phone.
Oh,
That's what I
maybe.
think that Diana is suggesting.
Dear David, why are you fudging with me so much?
Dear David, it's me, Kristen. Could you please leave our electronics alone?
Okay,
We're
shared.
just trying to do a nice show. Love the nice kids. Okay, cool.
Shared.
Great.
All right. Finally. Sorry about that, everybody. I can
Okay.
tune back in.
Yeah.
Did I zoom this out? How the hell were you able to read this?
Huh?
I think I need new glasses.
It was hard. No, it was hard to read.
Like an elder
I bet
man.
if you watch the thing back, I keep trailing off and I'm trying to like make a point or complete a thought because I was trying to look at the chat and I like couldn't really see it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I didn't even know that was the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up all the clips of the Joker from Suicide Squad, and I read the synopsis of Suicide Squad, and I got bored reading the synopsis.
Yeah, like bordering on zero interest.
A lot
from
of
me.
bombs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boring.
All right, everybody. I think we're
All
going to
right.
start the show proper. Thank you again so much for tuning in. If you are willing to share a link to this video, we'd really appreciate it. Maybe you know other people that are into spooky stuff. Maybe you know other people that are fans of or curious about the Joker and where he comes from, all kinds of stuff. Again, we're going to talk about the whole spectrum
Yes.
of Joker material.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. I think we're in good shape, Chrissy.
All right.
Take her away.
Let's do it. Hello, welcome to Guides to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her brother, William.
And today we are going to be talking about the Joker. Basically, his origins. Well, wait a second, because we don't know how far we're going to get.
We don't know how
Start
far we're
over.
going to get. Maybe just say we're going to talk about
Yeah.
the Joker, and then
Yes.
I'll launch in and say some stuff.
Yeah, well, let's, say we're going to talk about the Joker, but then reiterate the live show.
Live show,
And
Scream
social
2.
media. And yeah. Live show, Patreon, follow us these places, and then go into the subject.
Okay. Why
Yeah.
follow us these places? You just want to?
We had talked about starting to do that at the top.
Fine. I don't know.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her brother, William.
And today we are going to be talking about the Joker.
The Clown Prince of Crime.
That's right.
That devil with a red grin.
The inhabitant of the Hacienda.
Oh, evidently.
Or Hacienda,
Yeah, that was
depending
something
on
that-
what version you're looking at.
Kristen brought that to my attention. Caesar Romero in the
Yeah.
1966 Batman show calls his hideout the Hacienda.
Which is so good.
Welcome to my Hacienda, Batman. Ugh.
You'll find nary a razor in here. He keeps his mustache.
Well, he must have a
Ah,
little
but
mustache
Sags realized-
comb
Yeah.
and a little
he
mustache
also-
scissors.
He must have a razor because he doesn't have a full beard. He just has his mustache. So, all right, not quite right.
Joker shaves.
I know.
Whenever you think about how the Joker maintains himself,
I know,
he starts to
thinking
become
about-
less of an anarchist.
Yes, like think about like the Joker's home life, like the Joker buying green hair color and stuff
Yes.
at the store, and probably gloves.
Even the Joker, like, eating food.
Yeah,
You know? What does he
Yeah.
eat?
I know. Probably
Clownfish.
scraps.
Scraps?
Yeah, I
You
bet.
think he eats, like, garbage? Like, he goes to
bet-
a hotel where the food trays are left in the hall?
Yeah, I think that the Heath Ledger Joker is a freegan all the way.
Heath Ledger Joker is a freegan.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a dumpster diver.
That's absolutely
The rest
true.
of them, Caesar Romero probably has somehow room service in his home. I feel
Well,
like
he
likes
probably
his
has
comforts.
butlers that
Yes.
are dressed like, cartoon chefs and stuff.
Yes, who like wheel in food for him.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's big and garish and weird.
Jack Nicholson's Joker, I think, likes a burger.
No, I see Jack Nicholson's Joker is like a hardcore gangster. I think he's eating T-bone steak.
Well, but a burger.
I think
and
he has
steak,
steak and
I think
eggs
he like,
for
I
breakfast.
think he likes a hearty meal,
Yes,
something
I think that's
substantial.
probably true. He
Yeah,
goes to a restaurant, that museum restaurant in the Tim Burton movie, right?
that's right. He
Interesting.
does. Yeah, we don't see him
think-
order.
I think his typical menu for a given day: steak and eggs for breakfast, hamburger
Yeah.
with French fries for lunch,
Definitely French fries.
and a T-bone steak for dinner.
Yeah.
I think that he enjoys.
Yes, I think he likes the finer things and he
Yeah.
likes to indulge. So it's like a big burger, big steak all the way.
Yes, I think that the Mark Hamill cartoon Joker is probably eating a lot of pies.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They're a fun food.
Yes.
Jared Leto Joker, what the hell does he eat?
I don't know. He's supposed to.
I don't know.
He doesn't even really have a character.
Not really. I don't know. He's like kind of like the erotic Joker.
Well, we have different views of
Well, no. I
the
mean,
Jared
I don't.
Leto Joker.
I don't find him erotic.
Moving
but
on.
no, that's no.
Parents, put your kids to bed.
No, that's part of the thing. That he's like one of the only Jokers who has like a sexual prowess. It is. He's like hot for Harley.
What are you talking
It's
about?
true.
Anyway.
It's true. Have you ever seen any clips from Suicide Squad?
I have, and I have already forgotten them.
All
I
right,
did
we'll get
not
to
see
it.
that movie.
We'll get to it when I get to it. But no, he's kind of like a Lothario
I
Joker.
don't like the way you're moving.
And then you could tell me what Joaquin Phoenix Joker eats.
Does anyone describe anyone as being a bit of a Lothario these days? The Jared Leto Joker is a bit of a Lothario. That sounds like it would be from your film review channel.
I think I wrote in my notes that Jack Nicholson is a little bit of a Lothario, but I just transplanted it to Jared Leto as we're speaking right now.
Man, Jack Nicholson as the Joker is kind of trying to woo people.
That's what I'm saying. He's a Lothario. I wrote it in my notes. He's like wooing away the other Jacks. Wait, is his name Jack in the movie? No, that's Jack Palance. What's his name in the movie?
Grissom. Crime boss Grissom.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. He woos away Jerry Hall. Then he's like got the hots for Vicky Vale. Mm-hmm. And he's like a little bit of like a playboy bad boy Joker.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's got that wry grin.
He is very wry.
All right. Yeah. Well, before we really get into the Joker.
Yeah, because we haven't.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be a lot to talk about. If this intro is any indication, there's a lot to say about the Joker from us.
Yes.
But before we get into all of that, we want to point your attention to a few things.
That's right.
First of all, this is a reminder that on October 27th, Kristen and I are going to be doing a live show at a bar called Pino's, Pino, in Highland Park, New Jersey. It's a Sunday, October 27th at 6 p.m. And if you look in the show notes or if you even Google Guide to the Unknown Live, you will find a link to Eventbrite where you can get tickets. Come and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just got some equipment delivered so that Kristen and I can go do something a little bit special to display there. We're going to talk about some spooky stuff. We're going to put ourselves in some spooky situations.
Yes, in harm's way.
To be able to share it with all of you. So if you're able to come, please come and hang out. Yeah. I've also had it confirmed in the last week. Children are allowed to attend, though it is a bar.
Yep.
It's also somewhat of a family hangout spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a separate event space kind of in the back. It's sort of cordoned off, so it's not really like right in a bar. You'll be able to walk out to the bar area to get drinks if you want, but it's not like planted right in the middle of a bar. It's kind of a separate thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So please check that out. Again, link in the show notes. It's going to be a really good time. It'd be great to meet a bunch of you.
Yeah, we would love to see a bunch of you guys there. So please come on down. If you're in the tri-state area, it's easy to get to.
Yes.
So just give it a goog and then come hang out with us on the 27th.
Second heads up. If you're a member of our Patreon, if you're a Netherworld Warrior for a minimum of $4 a month, you may already know this. Kristen and I just released. We've been talking about it for a long time, talking about it for damn near 2 years.
Yes.
We did it. It's out right this second.
Our Scream 2 commentary. So we released a Scream 1 commentary on the main Guide to the Unknown feed in November of 2017. Got mostly crickets. People weren't like really going nuts for it, so we just kind of put it to the side. But then we wanted to do the second one anyway, just for our own enjoyment. But a handful of people started mentioning it in the last couple of months, which made us go like, all right, people want this thing, let's do it right now. So that's available at patreon.com/GTTUpod right now for $4 and up members.
Yes. Go check it out. It was really, really fun to do.
Yeah.
I would like to do more.
Great.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. So check that out and follow us at GTTUpod on all social media for updates on all these things as they happen, so you don't have to wait until the show.
Yes, please do.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Now let's talk again about the Joker.
Yeah, let's go back.
Let's see what happens here.
Well, real quick, what does Joaquin Phoenix eat?
What does Joaquin Phoenix eat?
Well, Joker Joaquin Phoenix. What's Arthur Fleck's diet looking like?
You know what? He's somebody who's looking for scraps.
Yeah.
Honestly, Joaquin Phoenix needs a lot of help.
Okay.
He's very sad. Quite frankly, we cracked a joke a few weeks back about our new favorite Joker quote being, "All I have are negative thoughts."
Oh, yeah.
The entire movie is like that.
Yeah.
I have seen it now. I saw it for this show.
Yep.
I had already decided not to see this movie.
Yeah.
But when you and I...
That's the stance that I'm sticking to.
Yeah. When you and I agreed that we were going to cover the Joker on the show, I was like, well, one of us needs to have seen it.
Yeah.
So I went alone because I had already had conversations with you where you said you wouldn't go. I'd already had conversations with Allie, my wife, where she said she wouldn't go. So I just kind of committed myself to it. Whatever, I'm going to go alone.
If you had said to me, I think that one of us should see this movie for the show, will you go with me?
It was sort of a last minute idea, but it struck me as like, yes, this is right. I think we need to see it to properly be able to discuss it. So we can talk about it in theory. And there's a lot of controversies surrounding this movie.
Yeah.
But how great would it be if at least one of us could speak from the experience of having actually seen it and developed our own opinions of it? Mm-hmm. And so, I took the bullet.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix eats. I don't know. He must do the grocery shopping. His mom is ill.
Yeah.
So he must be doing the shopping. What does he buy?
Milk.
Milk. He buys milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why do I feel like I saw him drink something?
Probably milk.
He'd probably drink milk right out of the carton.
Yeah, I feel like he drinks milk.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably drinks like sad stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
he probably like eats like white bread with, like Velveeta on it and a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Just like sad guy stuff.
Yeah. That sounds right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But where did this all come from?
Yes.
Let's go way back to the beginning. I'm going to tell you, Kristen, about the origins of the Joker. The actual point at which the character was created to fight
excellent.
Batman. So the creators of Batman, Bill Finger and Bob Kane, were also working with a guy named Jerry Robinson. And they were trying to come up with a villain for Batman to fight. And they all, to a certain extent, have differing opinions of where this character came from.
Interesting. Almost like how the Joker in The Dark Knight has different stories about where his scars come from.
Oh, yes. Well, even that interpretation of the Joker as not really having a true origin is consistent in a lot of different media about the Joker. I actually read that some of giving the Joker the inability to remember his own past is both a technique so that the character can seem kind of unhinged and mysterious, but it also gives a lot of people creative freedom to say that the Joker was all kinds of different stuff. So a lot of people can mold the Joker into whatever they want him to be.
Which is cool.
Which is very cool. I can't really think of other characters where that is the case at all, and it's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Now, we think of the Joker today as a multitude of different things. We think of him as psychopathic, cackling. We think of him as being kind of like garish and ridiculous. He has, an acid spitting flower on his lapel. But the original incarnation of the Joker was basically just a straight up killer guy who kind of happened to be a clown.
Yeah.
And the way that Bill Finger came up with his interpretation of the Joker was by looking at a photograph of Conrad Veidt, who played the Man Who Laughs.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a freaky guy.
This is a very sort of iconic image. A lot of you might already have the picture in your head. For those of you who do not know what this is, it's basically the Joker.
Yeah, it looks just like the Joker.
The Man Who Laughs is an 1869 novel by Victor Hugo, which later became a 1928 silent film directed by German expressionist Paul Lenny. Bonus fact: Nicolas Cage blames German expressionism for his bizarre acting style.
Yes.
Leading me to ask the question.
I would say that he attributes it to German expressionism. I don't think he thinks that it's something to blame.
I consider it.
Yeah, but he wouldn't.
Let me blame the reason why I'm like this on something, just to get all the heat off of me. It was German expressionism.
Right.
German expressionism made me say that, not the bees.
Yeah, there's a crazy interview with him that came out not that long ago. I think in the New York Times. I recommend looking up if you're so inclined.
Yes. Now, weird question. Nicolas Cage as the Joker.
Oh.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would probably,
my thoughts are, yeah.
How big can he go?
I think he can go real big. And I think it would be well suited.
Take the leash off.
You would need to see who's around him. Like, I think he would be great, but I feel like you would have to cast very carefully around that and create a good vibe around it to make sure it all works.
We might be able to get into this a little bit later. But I've got a list of alternate versions of the Joker from comic books, because comic books will create 1,000 different. It's this universe, it's that universe.
Yeah.
There's a modern interpretation of the Joker. Well, it's kind of the Joker crossed with Batman. He's called the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, yeah, you said something about that.
Yeah, and it is Batman infected by Joker toxin, driven insane.
Yeah.
And he's so much more like bondagey. He almost looks like something out of Hellraiser.
Weird.
His Batman suit is turned into like
straps.
Yeah, a lot of straps with spikes on them. Does
he look like a dork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
His entire his mouth is still open like the Batman cowl, but it's got the big white plastered face paint and big red smile.
Yeah.
And he's got like
Twisty the Clown?
No, I mean like the Joker.
Okay.
And he's got a bunch of Robins that have all been Jokerized, and
Yeah.
he keeps them on leashes like hyenas or something like that.
Weird.
It's very messed up. I could see Nicolas Cage doing something like that, where he's
where he was the Batman who laughs.
the Batman who laughs, a
Well,
twisted version of a hero turned into a monster.
That might be a dream, since he was going to play Superman. He would still get to kind of play hero in a way, but with a twist.
Yes,
a
I think
Nicolas
that
Cage twist
could kind of be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Man Who Laughs is loosely about this. Gwynplaine is the name of the character. He is the man who laughs. He has been disfigured so that he has a permanent smile on his face. We learn his backstory. When he was a kid, Gwynplaine was known as Fermain Clancharlie.
My.
I think this.
Are we sure that's how you pronounce that?
Where's Victor Hugo from?
Yeah.
These names are things that are not familiar
France?
to me, but perhaps.
Another French thing.
Monsieur.
Because didn't Victor Hugo write Les Miserables?
Sure.
I think. I don't know. I think it's probably Monsieur Clancharlie.
Yeah, maybe. Mr. Cherries.
Yeah.
So Fermain Clancharlie was the son of Lord Clancharlie. When Lord Clancharlie's rival, King James II, sentenced Lord Clancharlie to death in an Iron Maiden, his son, Fermain, was kidnapped. Oh, and he was kidnapped, of course, by Hardquanonne.
Oh, yes, another perfect pronunciation.
Oh, and Hardquanonne was, of course, a Comprachico.
Okay. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about right now.
A Comprachico
Yeah.
is a term coined by Victor Hugo in Man Who Laughs. It is a term for child buyers.
Oh, okay.
What they do is they, quote from Wikipedia about the Comprachicos, they change the physical appearance of human beings by manipulating growing children in a similar way to the horticultural method of bonsai.
Oh.
That is to say, deliberate mutilation.
Yeah. That's horrible.
By the way, this may be subject matter that's a little intense.
Yeah.
A lot of the Joker stuff, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Joker's really messed up.
Really
like all the
messed up, and
organ
we're going to
stuff.
spoil a bunch of stuff, too. So
Yeah.
consider yourself warned now. So Fermain, his father having been killed, is kidnapped by Comprachicos, and he is mutilated to give him a permanent smile on his face so that he can be sold into the circus as a performer.
God.
He's essentially turned into a jester that's
Yeah.
supposed to be entertaining people. But at the same rate, while people laugh at him and stuff, he's also completely shunned.
Right.
You know, he's turned into like some sort of an underclass guy.
Yeah.
So having grown up, Fermain, with his disfigured smile, is known as Gwynplaine, the man who laughs. And the rest of the story is essentially about how there is a princess who's intrigued by him and tries to seduce him, and then somebody finds out his real identity as the son of a former lord who was murdered.
Yeah.
And they kind of force him to become royalty in a weird way to continue the lineage. It's really weird. It's too complicated to get into. It involves a bunch of different names and what does it mean to be a lord and why does he do it and why does he reject it. But the fact of the matter is, Gwynplaine, the man who laughs, eventually does reject this life. He was always sort of like from the underclass.
Yeah.
He's sort of unwillingly pulled into being royalty, and he eventually turns his back on it to go and find the other people that he used to know in his old life. And so it sort of is a weird kind of jokery sort of story.
Yeah, you can see how and why they would pull from that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be mainstream after all of this. He needs to be counterculture.
Right.
In some sense.
Right. I guess partially because he's been... Like, he's forced to be counterculture in a way because of the way he looks now. But he's like, that's where I belong now. There's no fighting it or pretending that isn't the case.
Yes, I cannot be in the normal, quote-unquote,
nobody's
normal
gonna
person's
accept me
world.
like this.
Yes, I was mutilated as a child, and that became who I am.
Whether that's true or not. Like, that's how he
exactly.
feels. Like, there's no accepting me.
Right.
Yeah.
So this movie, The Man Who Laughs, is kind of considered to be a universal monster film, even though it's more of a... The Hunchback of Notre Dame gets referenced when you read about the Joker quite a bit, because it's sort of about somebody who's got like a really iconic form of, disfigurement.
A physical, yeah.
Yeah. And Yeah, even though this movie was actually kind of supposed to be like a tragic romance, depending on whether you read the book or watch the movie, Gwynplaine either kills himself at the end or kind of goes off for a, who knows, happy ending with the people that he used to know in the circus.
Yeah, he's venturing out there.
Yeah, very, very weird.
Huh.
The image of him is really alarming, Conrad Veidt as the Man Who Laughs.
Yeah.
So it's a black and white movie. It's a silent movie. And his skin obviously looks super duper pale because it's a black and white movie. His hair is slicked back. He's got dark circles around his eyes. And his mouth, the smile that this guy's able to get on his face is really alarming.
Yeah, it's crazy that he can stretch his mouth that far.
He looks also kind of like... He looks like straight up the Joker.
Yeah, he completely looks like the Joker.
But
it also looks like it's prosthetics.
Yes, it does. I was going to say, he kind of looks like, if you're familiar with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they did an
episode. He does look like those things.
Yeah, the gentlemen, they wear suits and they have weird smiles on their faces and they move silently and stuff. Right. Silent film, The Man Who Laughs. Almost as if that picture was just walking around your house without saying anything. Oy. Very scary. So this is where Bill Finger got his idea for the character. Conrad Veidt, The Man Who Laughs. Jerry Robinson, who is also the creator of Robin. I wonder if Robin. I hadn't really thought about that, but I don't know.
Could be.
He is responsible for coming up with that other iconic image of that Joker playing card. Yeah. Where he's wearing that jester cap with the three...
Yes. I don't know what
things with bells on them and the ruff.
3 dongles. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. But in a 1975 interview, Jerry Robinson said that he wanted to create an exotic character with a relationship to Batman similar to that of Professor Moriarty. Professor Moriarty to Sherlock Holmes. He wanted to create somebody that was completely recognizable. He claims he described the clown idea to Bill Finger over the phone, who then went on to say, well, that concept's great, but it's kind of incomplete. How about a permanent rictus grin? How about Conrad Veidt in The Man Who Laughs?
Yeah.
Now, Bob Kane kind of disagrees.
Being a little this, little of that?
Yes. So it's essentially, did Bill Finger come up with it first, or did Jerry Robinson come up with it first?
Right.
Bill Finger isn't really claiming that he's the origin point. He kind of describes it as like, I don't remember which came first, but I know that The Man Who Laughs was the biggest point of inspiration for the character.
Yeah.
Bill Finger has also sort of become kind of a controversial person with a lot of support because he's claimed to really be the creator of Batman, not Bob Kane.
So is there a monetary dispute here, or is it more about like creative?
This was in 1940. Yeah. I would assume maybe at some point, but that I don't know. I couldn't really say. Bob Kane, who was commonly believed to be the straight up creator of Batman at one point until Bill Finger was finally given credit only a few years ago, says that Bill Finger's idea came first, saying at one point, Jerry Robinson had absolutely nothing to do with it, but he'll always say he created it till he dies.
Oh.
Bob Kane was kind of a loudmouthy... I think I heard someone say once, I don't know where this is attributed to, but somebody once said that like Bob Kane could be heard like at bars and parties being like, well, yes, when I created Batman, making sure that everybody hears.
Put on a real show.
Yeah, I guess he did not like that Jerry Robinson was claiming anything. So the first appearance of the Joker was in issue number 1 of Batman, April 25th, 1940.
Nice.
I bought this comic the other night and read it.
Yeah.
And I think I knew this, but I kind of forgot. A lot of the 2008 movie The Dark Knight pulls from the original depiction of the Joker.
Oh, cool.
He is constantly making claims on television. I'm going to kill this person at this time.
Yeah.
He says that he's going to kill like the chief of police at midnight. Something like that. So all the cops swarm around. We got to make sure the Joker doesn't sneak in.
Yeah.
And then the chief of police will start laughing, whatever, and falls over dead at exactly midnight. Well, how the devil did he do it?
Yeah.
And then there are all these excellent panels of the Joker being like, ha ha ha, why, they'll never find out that I injected him with Joker serum, and it takes exactly 24 hours to be able to take over the victim's system. So what I injected him with last night killed him tonight. He's like stealing diamonds and stuff. It's all over-explained. He's kind of depicted as tall. He almost looks elderly. In one frame, he's sitting at a table, making a tent with his fingers. And he looks very Professor Moriarty. Yeah.
So you can really see that popping through.
Absolutely. He's very scary.
Yeah.
And he's like definitely like depicted to be like a murderer first and foremost. His first depiction.
Definitely the Joker in like a lot of the comics that I've read, which is admittedly not a ton, have been scary. Like the Killing Joke Joker. Yikes.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Twisted.
Yes.
Twisted.
Now, one of the weird things is the original plan was for the Joker to die in issue 1.
Oh.
Bill Finger
Good thing they didn't.
himself felt like if they did too many recurring villain kind of stories, it would eventually make Batman look inept.
Yeah, because he can't defeat these guys that keep coming back.
Yeah,
He's like
exactly.
ineffective.
Right.
Yeah.
So at one point, the Joker was going to die by being stabbed through the heart.
Oh. Okay. Well, that would have been very final.
1940.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hardcore.
Obviously.
So Batman doesn't do a lot of stabbing.
You know, I wish I knew, but unfortunately I don't know if Batman was the one who stabbed him.
Yeah,
I do know that Batman didn't have a thing
would
against
think-
killing for a while.
Right, but I would think that if they want to potentially kill off characters like
Yeah.
this because it makes Batman look ineffective, they'd probably have Batman kill them.
Right. Yeah, I guess
But
that's
who
true.
knows?
Take this, Joker.
Yeah. Stab in the heart.
It's a bit much.
The bat knife.
Yeah. Then, all right, so the comics world is broken into different eras. Here's a glancing blow of what the Joker was like in these different eras.
Okay.
So right off the bat, presented as scary killer guy.
Yes.
Here's the thing. A lot of people started to blame comics for real-life juvenile delinquency. People would burn comics. A lot of people rebelled, and so it ended up that the Comics Code Authority would eventually be established. This had a very stringent set of rules about the way that violence could be depicted, and it ended up, a lot of this backlash made comics creators have to back off of violent imagery.
Interesting.
So in the Golden Age, the Joker started by killing tons of people and very quickly was turned into a merry prankster.
Yeah.
I read on Wikipedia at one point he kidnapped Robin and Batman pays the ransom with a check
Okay.
so that the Joker can't cash it without being arrested.
Oh my God.
Pretty sneaky,
mean-
bats.
That's pretty great. I can see something like that happening in like the 1960s show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm into that.
In the Silver Age was really when the Comics Code Authority, or in the Silver Age, yeah, the Comics Code Authority
What's
is
the
really
Golden Age and the Silver Age? When are those years?
The Golden Age, I guess, is the 40s-ish. I don't know the exact eras. I can tell you there's the Golden Age, which must be the 40s to about the 50s. There's
Yeah.
the Silver Age, which is the rest of the 50s until about the 70s.
Yeah, because I never really, you hear people talk about the Golden Age, but I guess I just kind of end up lumping it and thinking of it as just like a wonderful time, the beginning of things or whatever. When you said the Silver Age, it makes it sound like those are like
I know.
quantifiable chunks of time.
It's funny, too, because
Yeah.
it means we're getting worse. You know, like the Golden Age was the 40s, the good
Yeah.
old days, World War II.
Right. Totally.
it's
That was
so
the
weird.
golden time.
It's so weird.
And so then was like the 60s and 70s like the Bronze Age?
The 70s is the Bronze Age, so it's
Who's
getting
calling
worse.
that? I've never
I don't know.
heard
And then at some, for me, weird point in the 80s, I guess, it turns into the modern age.
Okay,
which
so we're away from
we're still in.
materials then.
Yeah, because what comes after
We're not in like
bronze?
the cardboard, wet
Cardboard
cardboard age.
Yeah, the soggy cardboard.
Yeah.
The Guitar Center packs their expensive equipment in.
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
Picked up a floppy box on my front doorstep.
That's crazy.
It mushed against my fingers.
That's really wet.
It was crazy.
That's not good.
It was crazy. Anyway, so in the Silver Age, we start getting a lot of really silly stuff. This is where we start to, initially the Joker was depicted as taking over pirate broadcasts, to kill people.
Yeah.
In the Silver Age, this is where he gets some other, admittedly iconic, but when you think about where he started, kind of ridiculous stuff. This is where he'll get things like joy buzzers,
Okay.
shaking your hand and sending a jolt through you.
Yeah, the posy, poisonous posy.
Yep, absolutely.
Take away from my posy.
Trick guns that just say bang when you pull the trigger. And he commits a bunch of goofy crimes, like he steals all the commissioner's pies. I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever. Who cares?
Is that actually a thing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I would like to come up with like a list of crimes that he
fake
might have
Joker
committed.
crimes. Yeah.
Absolutely. He untied, everybody's shoelaces in town. He created a shoelace untying device.
He'd be like the Untitled Goose Game version of the Joker.
1,000%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Untitled Joker game. So in the Bronze Age, in the 70s, rejuvenation. He is turned back into a scary murderer man by writer Dennis O'Neil and artist Neil Adams. O'Neil says that it was his idea to, quote, simply take it back where it started. I went to the DC library and read some of the early stories. I tried to get a sense of what Kane and Finger were after. This is where a lot of really sort of iconic Joker stories start again. He almost disappeared from comics for a few years before he was brought back and made to be scary again.
Yeah.
Neil Adams starts to make him even taller and leaner, so we start to get lanky Joker. He's given his own comic book series at one point. He fought other villains, though, because they couldn't show the Joker, killing innocent people or whatever. So it was almost like his ascension in the underworld almost kind of thing, or a competitive edge. Unfortunately, the comics code required villains to be punished at the end of the story, so every issue ended with the Joker being caught, which made it impossible to tell any sort of long-lasting story.
What's with this comics code doesn't exist now, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when it was
disbanded
abandoned.
Or whatever, yeah.
Certainly by the 80s, because we'll get there, but Yamahama.
Weird.
Yeah.
And so did they just act at the pickup of each new comic like he never was captured, just kind of abandoned that story?
Yeah,
or was he busting out all the time?
Yeah, is it always the beginning of Ocean's 11 where he's being released from jail?
Weird.
I don't know. I don't know. But this is the era where he gets his fedora and his trench coat.
Finally.
There's also a great quote from a writer named Steve Englehart, who says that to him, Joker was a very crazy, scary character. I really wanted to get back to the idea of Batman fighting insane murderers at 3 a.m. under the full moon as the clouds scuttled by.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. Mm-hmm. That is the image.
Yeah, so I guess they were kind of sick of the idea of like writing Joker a check so he gets to go cash it and get caught or whatever. They want it to be like formidable opponents, like actually duking it out and actual threats.
This is what's happening while you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
While you sleep somewhere out there, Batman is making sure that all the crazy murderers are put away.
Yeah, it's keeping the streets safe.
I love that.
That is awesome.
There's the sort of older interpretations of Batman to me even are so much more interesting than what we do.
Yeah.
Now, like I feel like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, while amazing, have demystified Batman and brought him down to such a realistic level that he's not as fun.
Yeah, it's cool, but those movies are definitely not as fun. Yeah. I still really like it. I think it's its own cool, separate thing, but it's also really awesome to just see Batman in his Batcave, like somewhat unknowable. He's Bruce Wayne, but like not really digging into it and knowing where and how he got everything.
Staring at his monitors in the Batcave, like thinking hard about what people are doing, and then knowing how to foil some plans.
Or in Batman 2, like the Tim Burton Batman, sitting at the window waiting for a bat signal to go off because he's like hooked on it now, and as soon as it does, he pops up.
Oh, that really is great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my God, you're so right about that. Yeah, Michael Keaton in a turtleneck, waiting for the bat symbol to be projected into his library.
Yes.
Not sure how nobody knows that.
A little tuft at the back.
He's Batman.
Yeah.
But thank God he wasn't having a party. One of those big Wayne soirees. But it is great when he stands up. Yeah. And he's just like, oh, I can finally get to
finally I get to do this. Ready to roll. Like, that's my thing.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's kind of an 80s thing. So let's get to it. The 80s starts the modern age. And here's where we get some really, really, really iconic representations of the Joker. This is a lot of the stuff that turns the Joker into the character that we think of him as today. The Dark Knight Returns in 1986 by Frank Miller. This is about older Batman who is coming out of retirement, and the Joker has been comatose all these years, and he essentially snaps out of it when Batman comes back.
Really?
You and I read this for Book Club Schmuck Club.
He's comatose and then he wakes up when Batman comes back? Is it because he can like psychically sense that Batman's back?
I think he sees something on TV about it. It's.
I also don't remember this at all, P.S.
Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. On our old show, Book Club Schmuck Club, far less family friendly.
Yep. Far less good. Frankly.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
But we did a review of this book if you want to check that out. That's on your head. But yeah, The Dark Knight Returns has Joker wearing a big white suit, and he's got like big broad shoulders. He's so much more he's like a very androgynous David Bowie.
I can picture
type
that.
with the red lipstick.
Yeah.
He eventually goes on a talk show and kills everybody in the audience.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
Yeah, and he positions himself kind of as Batman's opposite.
Right.
There's A Death in the Family, 1988. This is a story that was sort of the first time that there's something that happens in the comics that has a permanent effect through everything else. There had been a Robin, there had been like 45 Robins, named Jason Todd, and readers did not like him. He had a bad attitude. People thought he did not deserve the Robin. The mantle of Robin. No. Get him out of there.
Yeah.
He was so unliked that DC Comics put a phone number in one of the issues. Jason Todd had been kidnapped by the Joker.
Yeah.
Call this phone number if you want him to die. Call this phone number if you think he should live.
That's awesome.
And in the next issue, the Joker beat Jason Todd to death with a crowbar.
Oh my God. They couldn't even just make it like a clean... Yikes. Well, I guess they're like, we're going to give the people what they want. What they want is gore and blood and a gruesome end.
Amazingly, it's so the kind of thing of like, careful what you wish for. Because in a it was so it was so brutal.
Right. Yeah, like I wouldn't be wishing for that. Even if I were like back then, I was like, ugh, I hate Jason Todd. If I called in and voted no and that happened the next issue, I'd still be like, ugh.
I know,
I don't know if I was looking for that.
He ended up becoming sort of like an iconic figure in the Batman story. Oh, absolutely. He would eventually be, as all comics end up doing, he would eventually be brought back to life as a character called the Red Hood? Question mark? The Joker, one of the Joker's backstories is that he was a crime boss called the Red Hood, and so Jason Todd takes over that mantle, and he's kind of an anti-hero.
In Riverdale, there was a character called the Black Hood. I guess that was a play on this.
Not impossible, but that also...
Never thought about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And his adversary was the Red Circle, which is Archie and his gang fighting against him. Are
they called the Red Circle because Archie has red hair?
I don't remember. So I guess maybe it was a little bit of pulling from both, but separating it.
Do they do
that comes back tonight in real time, by the way.
Do they do a bunch of outlandish things for which there are no consequences?
Yes. Well, no, I think Archie goes to jail. I don't remember if...
Oh, is that when Archie goes to jail? On the show Riverdale? Did we all know that?
I'm not... Oh, Archie goes to jail, all right. It's a terrible storyline. I don't think it's in connection with the
Riverdale show.
Yeah.
Archie gets forced to be in a prize fighting ring at one point on Riverdale.
I fast forward all those parts on Riverdale.
Jughead, does he like hamburgers on that show or what?
Yeah, he does.
He does?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, he doesn't eat them like all that often because he's busy running the Serpents gang. But he'll tuck into a burger. He'll tuck in. Anyway. Okay. A Death in the Family. Is what I just told you about. So let's move on. Okay, perfect.
The Killing Joke, 1988, written by Alan Moore. This is, you and I also covered this on Book Club Schmuck Club. This starts with Batman and the Joker sitting in Arkham Asylum. The Joker's playing solitaire.
Yeah.
And Batman comes to have a heart-to-heart. How is this going to end? This is going to end with one of us dying, isn't it? But it doesn't have to, right? Only to find out, that's not the Joker. It's an impostor. Yeah. An impostore.
Oh, my God.
Name the reference. Not you.
Me?
Not
okay,
you.
yeah.
So the Joker is kidnapped. Oh, he shoots Barbara Gordon.
It's messed up. I actually looked it up kind of recently, independent of this stuff. Ryan and I watched... he read the Batman comic Hush, which I don't think the Joker is involved in. And then we watched the cartoon Hush. And because of that, I looked up this storyline. He shoots Barbara Gordon and paralyzes her, and possibly assaults her.
Strips her nude and takes photos of her.
Yes, which he then projects on a screen and puts Commissioner Gordon in like a roller coaster car kind of thing or something, and has him going on a track while he's watching these nude pictures of his daughter who's wounded go by.
Yes.
Yeah.
While he sings a song about going insane.
Yeah.
And how there's always madness. If things go wrong, there's always an escape hatch. Insanity. And it's really considered to be one of the like most famous
Yeah.
Joker stories of all time. One of the most famous comic books ever made.
I mean, it's pretty shocking. I can see
very
why
shocking.
it's that way. It's shocking for today. I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
it's very shocking for 1988. Like, that's a really, really messed up, upsetting storyline.
1,000%.
It's a big, I mean, I don't know if it's a departure because I don't know, that much about Batman comics, but it's definitely not, jokey, goofy Joker with like a giant mallet or a poisonous flower or whatever. It's like traumatic and awful.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's really brutal, and I think it's a sign of the times that I think that it was always controversial, but to a certain extent, the legacy of that comic was that it was an incredible Joker story.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you think about what it puts a female character like Barbara Gordon through,
Yeah.
and the way that a female character is used in that story as kind of a tool to hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
It's taken on an entirely new context in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you also, there's no downplaying the sort of like cultural impact and significance that comic has had.
Oh, it definitely has. I mean, I think partially because it's so horrendous and awful.
Running concurrently to that sort of storyline of what the Joker is doing in the modern era is a flashback story of who the Joker used to be. And he's presented as a failing stand-up comic with a pregnant wife at home, and then the Red Hood gang sort of convinces him to go with them for a job to a chemical plant for whatever reason, I forget.
Yeah.
And he is wearing the red hood, made to look like the leader, and he eventually ends up splashing down into a chemical bath, comes out crazed and insane. Joker also says in that comic that if he has a past, he doesn't remember it. Sometimes he remembers it one way, sometimes in another. If he has to have a past, he prefers it to be multiple choice.
Right.
So that is where that original sort of idea...
That's very cool.
It's a very cool idea,
Yeah.
if I remember
That's a cool way
correctly.
to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had always thought of that comic as showing multiple choices of who Joker used to be. I don't think it is that way. I think they show one story
Right.
of who he used to be and then claim that there are multiple options.
Yeah.
And I find that to be kind of odd.
Yeah.
But regardless,
But cool.
the multiple choice idea obviously has really held on and endured
Yes.
to this day.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn is added as Joker's accomplice in 1992. She was created during Batman the Animated Series.
I was about to ask whether she was part of the comic books or whether she was from the cartoons.
Yeah, from the cartoon, and then eventually added to everything else.
Yeah.
And obviously now
I mean, she's great.
She is great. She's an absolutely incredible character.
Yeah.
And the way that she has been used is to explain sort of getting out of the Joker's shadow and an odd sort of codependence, and eventually needing to step out of his shadow and become her own person. She's as much a victim of the Joker as anybody else.
Yeah,
even though they're
totally.
shown as having a relationship.
Right.
It's very...
She's completely in his thrall.
Yeah.
And it seems like he could take or leave her.
It's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
There's even a story called Mad Love that was written by Paul Dini, who is one of the original writers of Batman the Animated Series.
The amazing Paul Dini.
Yeah.
My favorite magician.
Paul Dini.
Yeah.
And it's a really great story, and it sort of is about Harley Quinn becoming disenchanted with the Joker. He is so obsessed with trying to get Batman that he doesn't even see her anymore.
Yeah.
And he like smacks her around and eventually throws her out a window and stuff. And so she's finally starting to sort of wake up.
Emancipate
To
herself.
the deal. Yeah, the
The
fantabulous...
is it the emancipation of the fantabulous one Harley and Quinzel?
No, it is Birds of Prey.
No,
the
I know.
fantabulous emancipation of one
Yes.
Harley Quinn.
Yes. I was being stupid.
I'd like
And
to
very
point out,
funny.
I'm one of the producers of Earthbreak, a few suggestions for survival with additional hints and tips about how to make yourself more comfortable during the alien apocalypse. For the record.
Yeah, but that doesn't contain the words fantabulous or an extraneous one.
It doesn't have fantabulous in it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that.
However, I'm looking forward to seeing that movie.
You're going to see it?
Yeah, I'll see that.
You didn't see Suicide Squad.
No, but I don't know. This looks more interesting than Suicide Squad.
You know she wants to reboot Tank Girl, right?
I didn't know that. I don't like Tank Girl, so I don't have any attachment to that.
Do you have any
that
idea
seems
what
right.
you might be doing?
What do you mean?
Tank Girl should not.
I remember Tank Girl being on, and I'd be like, oh, Tank Girl is on. I felt like it was on like all the time.
Yes.
I feel like it seems like something that I should like.
Right.
A lot of my contemporaries really like Tank Girl, but I was like, ugh.
Yes, The only thing I know about Tank Girl is, Tank Girl is on again.
Right.
To be fair.
It was always on.
And what is the actress's name?
Lori Petty.
Lori Petty. Something about her always scared me. She probably would have been a good Harley Quinn.
She's great in, what's it called? Who are the Georgia Peaches? Rockford Peaches. Boom. I'm playing baseball. A League of Their Own.
Damn it. I was hoping you would never find it, and I was already committing to not say the name. But all right.
She's great in A League of Their Own.
Okay, let's I'm going to tell you just about some other stuff that I like.
Okay.
Let's go to the modern era first.
Okay.
2012. A book called Death of the Family, written by Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
Now, this book...
Is this what you text me about and you're like, I'm excited to talk about this?
I'm just excited to talk about the Joker in general.
Yeah. There was something in particular, though. I think it might have been this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was this.
Doesn't matter.
So this was a book that was responsible for me briefly getting into comics for a little while. Death of the Family, Scott Snyder.
Okay.
Drawn by Greg Capullo. Really good looking books.
Yeah.
So Death of the Family plays off of Death in the Family, where the Joker beat Jason Todd to death with a crowbar.
Okay. Because he beat his death with a crowbar this time. Crowbar.
Nobody. The answer is nobody. The biggest, most awesome thing that happens in this book is that Joker goes even more banoonies.
Ah.
And he cuts off his own face.
Okay. I've heard of this.
You've heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. Joker cuts his face off.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know why, staples it back on.
I've seen that. You might have shown me some of this, or it's ringing a bell.
It's very messed up.
Yeah.
And it was a really sort of odd, engaging way to take the Joker concept, which had been around at this point for 70 years.
Right.
And do something.
Give it a new face.
Give it a new face, yes.
So fresh coat of paint. Old coat of paint.
Old coat of paint. That face is starting to rot.
Yeah.
Over the course of issues. And he appears in multiple different comic books.
Yeah.
The reason comic books are so confusing to me is that I think the full Death of the Family storyline takes place across like Batman #5. Then you have to jump to Batwoman.
They can be really
#3.
confusing like that. Yeah.
I just collected in a book and let me read it in sequence. I have no idea how to read this.
Right.
So he cuts off his own face, he staples it back on, and it's held on with hooks, leather straps. You can see his muscle through his eye sockets, through the mouth. It's really messed up looking.
That's pretty cool.
It looks pretty rad.
Yeah.
There is, I think, a Batgirl book where he's trapped her in a cage or something, and he's taunting her, and all his word bubbles are as if he's like a demon. They're all wobbly.
Yeah.
The lettering is all jagged and messed up.
Or she looks inhuman.
Yes, and at a certain point...
And frankly, that shouldn't be allowed to be, so he like kind of is inhuman.
He's kind of well, we'll get into that in a second.
Because like he would bleed out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have something to say about that.
Okay.
Oh, it's terrible.
What?
Oh, it's so
it's terrible.
It's
what
really
is it?
terrible.
What is it?
The Joker is an ageless demon who's shown up in old news clippings throughout Gotham City, known as the Pale Man. He shows up at a lot of incidents where horrible things have happened.
Wait. So this happens in this book?
It happens in the continuity of this in a later story.
All right.
There is a pool of goo under Gotham City called Dionysium.
Oh, okay.
And it is also found in the Joker's
blood,
spinal fluid.
Okay.
Or is the Joker's spinal fluid the Joker serum? That might be the Joker serum.
What?
And so when
how do we even know about his spinal fluid?
Because Batman did some research.
He took some?
And finds out that the Joker is an ageless demon with regenerative powers.
Oh, wow. They really unraveled that, I feel like, because I like this idea of him cutting off his face, stapling it back on. I was just being like a ball buster. Like you could abandon the fact that he would bleed out. Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care. That doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah.
So it seems like they really went somewhere with that.
It is.
That's not necessary.
Terrible.
That also casts a kind of less cool light on something that I found in my research for the show next week. Because I'm going to go through iterations of Joker that have been in the movies and kind of backstory about those. There was something unexpectedly cool that Jared Leto said about the Joker that now is less cool to me because it's a little bit less original. when he was getting prepared, and I'm not going to say this isn't annoying. It's of course annoying, William. I want to make that clear to everybody. When he was preparing, he was listening to 1920s gospel music.
So annoying.
It was because he said he thinks that the Joker is much older than we think he is, which I thought was a cool idea. I like the idea of the Joker having such like a weird sprightly kind of spirit that you're like, oh man, he's actually like 75. That's weird. But
he's saying timeless.
No, I think he meant literally much chronologically older. Again, I don't...
To be chronologically old enough that you're listening to 1920s music because it's what you know, then that would mean that in Suicide Squad, he would have had to have been 90 years old.
I don't think we need to take it quite that literally, but I like the idea of the Joker.
That's if he was born in the 1920s.
Maybe he's just like an older guy, but he likes even older music. It's like if you're listening to the Beatles or whatever, because you like the Beatles doesn't mean you were a teen when the Beatles came about.
If you were trying to say that I listen to the Beatles because I'm older than you know.
Yeah. I like the idea.
Jared Leto is trying to say that the Joker is timeless, ageless, and is hundreds of years old.
I don't think so.
And then got fronts.
I don't. Oh, those fronts.
Finally bit onto a modern trend and got a grill.
Or he bit onto something that was too hard and crispy like a peanut brittle, ruined his teeth, and had to have those things put in. Which would suggest oldness, because who the hell eats peanut brittle? Bring me back to the idea he's older than we think, and I like it.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
Thank you.
Bit onto something hard like peanut brittle. My teeth!
Yeah, so this isn't
Get me new fronts.
It's not a cosmetic choice. It was their dental appliances, and because he's an old man, he had them applied however long ago. Now I'm mixing up what I think it is. Anyway,
he got damage tattooed on his forehead because it was about his teeth when he bit into that candy.
It was just a stamp.
Yeah.
Somebody put stamp damaged on him. He's damaged goods.
Hard candy.
Yeah. I came across a Werther's that didn't agree with my gums. My chompers. Okay, look, let's pretend that the 1920s gospel music isn't part of this. Never mind that. Never mind.
You said that was cool. Too late. It's on the record.
No. I like the idea of thinking that the Joker is older than we think he is. I like that. I like it. I can't remember how he does it. When Heath Ledger's like, "Oh, I like it," or something. No?
I want you to do it.
Yep. That's what it is.
I like it.
Okay.
Weird as hell.
All right, anyway.
There's a moment in Death of the Family. He's got his face cut off. It was actually, according to Red Jack in the chat, it was the doll maker who cut his face off. He doesn't do it to himself.
Oh, okay.
So in the Batgirl book, I think, he takes his face and he turns it 180 degrees. So his eyes are looking through his mouth. The flap of skin that was his mouth.
Ew.
And he's talking through the eye holes. Like he does like weird stuff.
Wow,
and it's
weird.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, like it's freaky. He's surrounded by flies.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing rotting skin.
Ugh.
You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
And he's through a lot of this wearing sort of a workman's jumpsuit with a tool belt.
Yeah.
That's kind of sagging off to one side.
Uh-huh.
Like he just got,
give him a jaunty look.
Yes, they just gave him a different look.
Yeah.
And created a new iconic style of Joker, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Much as I disagree with the story.
Right.
For what Death in the Family did by killing Jason Todd, and it had ramifications through decades of storytelling to follow. Death of the Family, I remember at the time waiting eagerly every month to get the next book. Being like, what is this going to culminate in? What is this dude going to do? He might kill everybody. Eventually, the Joker has everybody in the Bat family. This is like, there are like 18 Robins, a few Batgirls, Alfred. Like, there's so many people at this point.
Yeah.
He's got them all sitting around a table, and they all have a present in front of them. All their heads are bandaged. They open the lids of the boxes. Their own faces.
I was about to say, it's their faces.
Are in each box.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the Joker cut off everybody's faces. Record scratch? No, he didn't. These are all paper mache.
Okay.
Faces.
Why did he do that? Frankly, why didn't he cut off their
them?
faces?
To scare? I don't.
Because if the Joker's such a madman and he had the means.
Thank God the Joker didn't harm us.
Right? Why didn't he? He had the means, motive, and opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It culminates in Batman and the Joker on the top of a waterfall.
core niceness to him. He didn't really want to go there.
Well, he eventually says that like the whole point was to at some way get rid of all the trust within all of them for each other. So he kills the family by splitting them all apart.
Okay.
And it's like, well, that's so much less satisfying.
Yeah.
And like less
it's just it seems like a way to keep things open, to be able to continue stuff, which is understandable.
They did. Because Joker falls off of that waterfall and comes back as the Pale Man with his face intact.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got Dionysium in his spine and he's immortal.
He's like Wolverine.
So disappointing.
Yeah.
So disappointing. Anyway, let's start to wrap this up a little bit. I'm going to tell you about a few of my favorite Joker stories.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you about some alternate weirdo Jokers. And because this will end up going to a part 2 without a doubt.
Yes.
I'm going to prepare some other weird Jokers for next time,
Okay.
I think. Here's some of the stuff that let's do weird first and then we'll end with stuff that I like. Let's do stuff I like and then end with weird stuff. That's more satisfying. All right. Here are some of the Joker stories that I've always kind of enjoyed. There's something called Emperor Joker. Mm-hmm. The Joker gains the powers of Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Oh.
Who is a little imp guy who can control reality.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He uses this power to become Emperor Joker and remake the world in his...
Emperor Joker.
It's great. He's got a scepter and a crown.
Yeah.
It's a comic book.
Yeah.
So he's like sitting on a throne.
It's
dynamite.
That's great.
Yes. And he uses this power to remake the world in his own image, essentially. And so he can torture everybody. Like, Bizarro is the person that people love, and Superman's the bad guy.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right.
For Batman every single day is murdered and then has to crawl out of his own grave only to be murdered again. And then the day resets.
Oh, man.
And he crawls out of his grave. He's murdered. And he has to dig out of his grave again. He's given like an eternal torment.
Ugh.
Really.
And he remembers it like Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Batman?
Yeah.
That's rough.
Torturous.
That's
Emperor
rough.
Joker is a sicko.
Yeah, it really is.
There's a story called No Man's Land. Essentially, Gotham City is too dangerous, so they blow up all the bridges. Like the United States government destroys all the bridges to Gotham City, and so it gets turned into crime haven.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I guess kind of like they don't blow up the bridge, but I guess in what's it called, the
Dark Knight Rises. That they were biting off this a little bit.
Right.
So Joker at some point kidnaps a bunch of babies.
Okay. I feel like you can see an image of the Joker with like a mountain of babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Commissioner Gordon has a wife named Sarah, who's a cop, who finds the Joker. And she walks in a room where there's tons of babies on the ground, and Joker's holding a baby.
Yeah.
And
not an image you want to see, Joker holding a baby.
And he tosses the baby to her for her to catch. So that she'll stop pointing her gun at him.
Yeah.
And when she catches the baby, he shoots her in the face.
God.
And then there's a frame that I saw this was mid-90s. I was probably 12 or 13, something like that. There was a frame in this comic book. I wasn't a big comic book reader.
Yeah.
The woman he just shot in the face is face down in a pool of blood. Babies are crawling all around her.
Oh, God.
The Joker is like in his face is cut off by part of the frame, so there's just half of his face.
Right.
And he's frowning and holding his smoking gun. And it was such a weird image to see the Joker
Is it like a regret thing?
Yes.
Like he's gone too far?
Yes.
Yeah.
He walks out of that room, goes upstairs, and turns himself in.
Oh.
And it was so odd. And like it was like one of the first times I think that I found a comic book like kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
And really grim.
Yeah.
Really dark. Like seeing the...
Was that part of the comic book commission time or whatever that was called?
No
so it was just a choice to
So he turns himself in, and Commissioner Gordon realizes what just happened. Joker just killed his wife.
Yeah.
So he shoots Joker in both of his knees.
Oh my God.
And Batman's there being like, Jim, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like it's all so...
Man,
it's
that's
all
heavy.
So bleak.
Yeah.
It's so messed up. And this is going to be something that like I feel like I'm going to be ridiculed for saying. But like seeing the Joker with a big frown on his face...
Yeah.
Well, I just walked out of Joker 2019.
Yeah, that sounds like
So
nothing
I've seen
but
it quite a
frowning
bit.
Joker.
Oh,
Yeah.
good golly.
Yeah.
Good golly. But at that time, seeing the Joker having a moment of like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Was like really kind of weird.
Right.
And like it's stuck in my head. I used to draw
Well,
it
you're
all the
not
time.
you're
It was
not
so weird.
used to that. You know what I
No.
mean? The Joker's always loving it. He's
Yeah.
never showing introspection or anything. So that's very jarring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's the Batman Arkham series of video games,
Yep.
which I think are
Awesome.
wonderful.
Yep.
Mark Hamill voices the Joker again. Kevin Conroy voices Batman. These are sort of like the two iconic voices
Yeah.
of these characters. And you play as Batman. Joker traps you in Arkham Asylum, and he taunts you over the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
He taunts you over the television.
It rules.
There's a lot of like really cool imagery of Joker statues with televisions for heads.
Yeah.
It's all like really kind of weird and bizarre.
Yeah.
And then in Batman Arkham City, which is the second game, the Joker is sick. He had injected himself with something called the Titan Serum, turned into a big monster. But then that stuff wore off, and he's become sick, and he's dying. And he injects Batman with his sick blood
Yeah.
to convince him, you got to find a cure, because otherwise we're both going to die.
Right.
I said I was going to spoil everything, right?
Yeah.
All right. Joker dies at the end of that game. Batman tried to save him, kind of. Didn't manage to. Joker dies at the end of that game. Then they did a prequel story, which is the first time the Joker and Batman meet.
Yeah.
It takes place on Christmas. Christmas Joker. A different guy, a guy named Troy Baker, voices the Joker in this, but he does a really good Mark Hamill-y
Yeah, kind of job.
voice, and it's very fun. It's really the first time the Joker is seeing Batman, especially.
Yeah.
He's one of a bunch of hired assassins that are supposed to kill Batman before the night is over. But he's paying attention to Batman, and they fight at one point. Joker's falling off a building and laughing. Batman saves him. And Joker, you see in the game, goes through a kind of like, why would you save me?
Yeah, right.
What? Why would
Does
you
Batman
save me?
like catch him and the Joker's eyes are like searching Batman's eyes? You know what I mean? Like a rom-com moment. Like, oh,
Yeah, okay, kind of.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
a lot of the
what's-
way that Batman and the
what's
Joker presented is.
happening here?
Oh, boy. Are you feeling that?
Yeah.
Did you feel what just happened between us? But it's like actually, I think, quite frankly, a lot of people don't like that game.
Yeah.
It's called Batman Arkham Origins. It was made by a different studio from the other ones. A lot of people say that it's kind of janky. It's not as fun. Whatever. All the cutscene stuff. Holy crap! Look at it.
Cool. I don't think I've seen that one.
Tim Burton proved to us with Batman Returns that Batman in the winter, and
Yes.
especially Batman around Christmas,
Yes.
is such an odd juxtaposition of images.
I love Christmas Batman.
It's very, very fun looking.
You know, mistletoe is deadly if you eat it.
It's even a kiss is even deadlier if you mean it.
See? Christmas Batman brought us that line.
Oh, Christmas Batman.
Yeah.
This has to be a two-parter. There's so much to
Yes.
say about the other stuff.
Yes.
There's so much. But yeah, look up those clips. Chrissy's getting into video games. You might enjoy them.
Yeah, yeah.
God. All right. I'm going to get more into Cesar Romero and Mark Hamill next time.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll get into like actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all right, so let's wrap up here with alternate versions of the Joker. I'm going to
Okay.
call out a few, and then for fun, I'll look up a few more for next week because there's
Okay.
about 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Here are some cool alt versions of the Joker. They did a cartoon show that I did not watch. It followed up Batman the Animated Series, which is the iconic one. I think it was just
Yeah.
called The Batman. And Joker was portrayed as having long green dreadlocks, and he didn't wear shoes. He just had like big bare feet, and he wore a straight jacket, and the arms were not tied, so there was just like loose fabric hanging at the end of his sleeves.
Yeah.
And he was much more sort of like hyena-like.
Uh-huh.
He kind of almost like crawled around on all four in a weird, almost like almost the way that like a gorilla would walk.
Weird.
But he was definitely inspired by the way hyenas look.
Yeah.
And he was much more like physically adept at combat.
There's a real thing with the Joker and hyenas.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Batman the Animated Series, he has
Yes.
pet hyenas.
Yes.
I mean, hyenas laugh.
totally.
A lot of the Joker, boy, it's fun.
Heath Ledger was paying attention to hyena lore while he was preparing for The
was
Dark
he?
Knight. Yep.
Oh God, I can't wait. There is some sort of a story that I didn't know about called Batman Nosferatu.
Oh, okay.
Joker appears as the Laughing Man, which was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
People are honoring that.
Right,
that
makes sense.
Origin. But then what started as an exciting idea turns out he was a cyborg.
Oh, okay, great.
All right.
I have no time for a cyborg.
Yeah.
I've got almost no use for them.
No, I got no use for a cyborg. There's a version of him in some universe called the Jokester.
Okay. That's really funny.
I know literally nothing else. I just thought it was funny.
Small twist.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
The Jokester.
The Jokester.
And then there's this. I'll leave you on
The
this.
Jokler.
They did a series of books called Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash does something that screws up the timeline. There's an alternate reality where Batman is super duper brutal. This is a pretty recent story.
Okay.
Batman has got a different suit. He's got glowing red eyes. I think he kills criminals in this story. His Joker, they do a storyline where they show how these two characters interact. Flashpoint Batman, Flashpoint Joker. Batman's also driven by a trauma. Joker seems to be driven by some sort of a trauma.
Mm-hmm.
They have a shared trauma. Oh, here's what happened in this alternate reality. The night that Thomas and Martha Wayne walked into an alleyway with their young son Bruce and were confronted by a gunman, this robber, pow, fired his gun, as always.
Yeah.
How does this story differ? Why? It was young Bruce Wayne who died.
Oh.
And, driven by the grief, Martha Wayne turned into the Joker.
Oh my God.
And Thomas Wayne turned into
Brutal Batman.
Brutal Batman. And so they are a husband and wife,
Uh-huh.
both completely driven insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, they show Martha Wayne with green hair and her mouth cut open.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think she's like killing kids or something, and Batman's trying to stop her. And then they end up, Thomas Wayne, because it's comic books,
Right.
has found out that there is a version of the universe where they died instead of Bruce. And there's a version of the world where their son grows up.
Uh-huh.
And so he's chasing the Joker, who used to be his wife,
Yeah.
and trying to stop her first and foremost. And then they have an odd moment of clarity together where he starts to say there's a world where Bruce is alive.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of like can see through her insanity for a little bit.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
goes
and like remembers.
She's like, does he grow up to be a doctor like his father? And he goes, he grows up to be like his father. And she realizes that in this other world, her son is
Batman. Yeah.
And I think they die. I kind of think they kill each other, or she
Huh.
dies or something.
Interesting.
But it's so odd, a story.
Yes.
And it plays on the idea that Batman and the Joker are connected.
Right.
But it makes that connection something really unique that I have never seen before or since. I know that they brought Thomas Wayne back and did other stuff with that, the version of that character.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they ever did any other stuff with Martha Wayne as the Joker, but I found that really interesting. I think it was like a book. I think it was like one book.
I think that's probably all you would need of that. That's an interesting jump off point. Like I could see that being kind of a creative writing prompt. Like what if, you know, that night in the alley, it was actually Bruce who was killed.
Right.
Like what does that look like? And getting to a point where you realize that these two people would make sense as the Batman and Joker is kind of awesome.
Yes. And two versions of coping, two versions of grief.
Right.
Two paths to take
Yeah.
in your life. One person goes insane and tries to find answers, and the other person goes insane and says there are no answers to anything.
Right.
Screw everything.
Yeah.
Screw it all.
That's pretty cool.
Very interesting. I
Yeah.
think I've got that one too. I definitely own it somewhere. I probably have it through an app.
Yeah.
But you might enjoy that.
Yeah, that's
quite
pretty
frankly.
neat.
Yeah. The Joker and Batman, two sides of the same coin.
That's right. Just like we're going to have 2 episodes about the J-Man.
That's true. Yeah. So I covered the J-Man in comics and sort of like more of the stuff that primarily dorks know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kristen will get more into like the movies and
That's
stuff
right.
that probably more people have seen and more people are aware of
Yep.
next time.
Yes, exactly.
I want to leave with 2 things.
Okay.
One, the idea of Joker and Batman as being intrinsically linked. Do you have any feelings about this? Do you like that? Do you feel like it's the whole like one cannot exist without the other thing?
I think that Joker is more into that than Batman is. I think Joker's more attached to the idea of them being 2 linked things than Batman is. Batman definitely wants to pursue the Joker and everything, but I feel like it's a lopsided thing and it doesn't completely ring true to me that they're actually 2 sides of the same coin.
I'd agree, but there are a lot of stories, and granted, I mean, this is up for personal interpretation. I'm just aware of a bunch of stories where Batman is criticized for like why do you always
like let him get away or something?
how can you keep letting him get away with this?
Yeah.
There's a cartoon movie about the Red Hood story with Jason Todd where he's voiced by Supernatural guy.
Jensen Ackles?
Jensen Ackles. And as Jason Todd, he goes like, how could you let him get away with that? How could you let him get away with killing me? You know, why is he still alive?
Yeah.
And it really plays off of that sort of idea of Batman as like somehow enabling all of this.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my thought off the top of my head.
I think, for me personally, I simultaneously both enjoy that and think that it's all a little overplayed, and that the more
It just
you
doesn't
do
ring
it, the
true
less
to me for some
special it
reason.
is.
Yeah.
I had at one point come up with a story that I wanted to write, and I never did, about the Joker. It was gonna be an indie comic where we see a figure sitting on a gargoyle, staring down at the city.
Yeah.
And there would be like one of those internal monologue boxes of the thought process going like, this is my city. I'm watching over it, waiting for him to strike. And you realize, oh, we're not watching Batman. We're watching the Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker hasn't seen Batman in months. Nobody has. And so the Joker has now sort of become a detective trying to figure out what the hell happened to Batman. Where did he go?
Yeah.
And so he's kind of mocking Batman, kind of being Batman.
Right.
And then
it's pretty awesome.
Yes, and then eventually there's something happens where it becomes clear that Batman has definitively retired. He is not coming back. And so Joker, like sitting on top of a gargoyle or like clinging to the side of a building or whatever that kind of Batman-y stuff. Once he realizes like, oh, he's not coming back, his shoulders just kind of slump and he thinks to himself, and then the next panel would be Wayne Manor and he rings the doorbell.
Yeah.
He's like, where is he?
Yeah.
He always knew. He always knew who Batman was, and he just kind of enjoyed the game. And it turns out that like Batman is essentially trying to grow up. He's got a family now. And he's like, I have to leave that behind. I've got a family. I've got to think about that.
I can't play anymore.
And Joker would be kind of going like, but we got the whole thing going on.
Yeah.
What are you talking? You're telling me that you're more satisfied sitting in that house, like watching Sesame Street, than doing the kind of stuff that we do out there? I don't buy it.
Yeah.
And it would be almost like, in a weird way, it would be like Batman combined with Clerks.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Like it's a story about growing up.
Yeah.
And it would end with Batman basically being like, you can, you don't have to do that either. You can come over and we can sit and we can talk.
We can do it together.
If you want. And so it would be Joker having to decide, can he give it up?
Right.
To join Batman, essentially, because they're best friends.
Yeah.
Way. And I was working on that until it became clear to me that the Joker stuff was being done, I think, like way too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of Joker.
There's a lot of Joker and a lot of Joker telling Batman that they're life partners.
Yeah.
Which is all well and good, but like it was just being so overdone that I just stopped working on it.
Yeah.
But I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
All right, and the final thing that I have to say is super small, but I literally just saw The Joker, the new movie. And my gut feeling about it so far is that there are a lot of things that movie does that honor the weird legacy of what I just described to you about the Joker that I kind of want to tell you about.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll be able to also next week, having sat and thought about the movie a little bit more, be able to give you more of my like, now it's been a week, here's what I feel about it.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Joker 2019.
Yeah.
Just a couple of minutes. So if this is the big thing that people might be afraid of because it's the newest thing, I completely understand. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Where we'll talk more about the Joker.
Yep, totally understand.
Check that link in the show notes. Go grab your tickets for our live show at Pino's in Highland Park, New Jersey.
Yep.
October 27th. And become another World Warrior.
Yes,
Listen to our Scream 2
patreon.com/GTTUpod for bonus content. We got bonus episodes the 15th of every month, and then stuff that we're just dropping in here and there on top of that, like that Scream commentary.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. I'm about to spoil Joker 2019. All right. Joker as having a past that is unknown / multiple choice. In this movie, we're shown Joaquin Phoenix lives with his mom, played by Frances Conroy, and he has to give her baths.
Yes, and yet can dance with her.
He can dance around.
Although
with
Ryan
him.
told me that he kind of has to hold her up a little bit.
Yes,
that was one of my first questions.
Yes, she was a little too frail. For what he's doing.
Right.
So in the movie, his mom, her name is Penny Fleck, is obsessed with Thomas Wayne. She keeps writing letters to him and keeps asking Joaquin Phoenix, did we get any mail in? I'm waiting for him to write me back. He's kind of loosely curious, like, why is she so obsessed with Thomas Wayne? She keeps saying that he's a wonderful man. She used to work for him. He said we'd always be family. Eventually, one day, she writes a letter. He opens it himself to read the kind of stuff that she's sending to him, and it's revealed. Penny says, "We need your help. Your son and I need your help."
Yep.
So it is suggested that Thomas Wayne is Joker's daddy.
Yeah.
I thought that was mildly interesting. The idea that Joker and Batman could be like half brothers, something like that. He goes to Wayne Manor and he sees young Bruce Wayne, sticks his fingers in his mouth.
What?
Sticks his fingers in his mouth.
Well, that I didn't get from my Wikipedia summary that I spoiled this for myself with. Oh, that's what he gives a smile to?
Sticks his thumbs in his mouth to give him a smile.
That's in one of the trailers. Yeah.
So weird.
I know. Very weird.
Kind of scary, too.
Well, yeah, that's like invasive. Even for those 2 seconds or the concept. That's scary.
Yeah. Young Bruce Wayne is playing on like a jungle gym, and he sees Arthur Fleck, Joaquin Phoenix, and Arthur Fleck sees him and then ducks down behind a wall.
Yeah.
Which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
When he stands up, he's got a red nose on. And then he's kind of jauntily walking, and he does a bunch of magic tricks using a magician's wand thing. Like produces flowers out of it, stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting. Alfred confronts him and is real aggro.
Yeah.
And says his mom is crazy. He is not Thomas Wayne's son. And Joaquin Phoenix starts to attack him and stops himself from doing it when he kind of sees that Bruce is there able to see it all.
Like watching, yeah.
Which is weird. Later, he confronts Thomas Wayne, who also says he's crazy. He punches him in the face. Thomas Wayne punches Joaquin Phoenix in the face. And says, no. I am not your dad. You are not even Francis Conroy's son. You were adopted. And he will later see an adoption certificate saying that Francis Conroy is his adoptive mother.
Yeah.
So where does he come from?
Right, exactly. There are multiple stories.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Nobody knows where this guy comes from. Also, I mentioned that in The Dark Knight Returns, which is a very iconic book, the Joker goes on a talk show and kills a bunch of people. At the end of this movie, the Joker goes on a talk show and kills a bunch of people.
Right.
Well, he kills one person.
Yeah. But still, it's in front of a bunch of people on a talk show
Absolutely.
set. Yeah.
And it's just like, it's all oddly sort of familiar. While doing new stuff that, quite frankly, I find kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Although I don't know that I was really having fun in this particular movie.
Yeah.
They give the Joker a condition where he laughs uncontrollably in stressful situations.
Right.
The way that is presented is almost like sometimes in a movie a character will be, somebody will be like, "Are you crying?" And it turns out the person was really laughing. Because laughing and crying kind of sound similar. The way that he laughs in the movie is so uncontrollable. You hear it like get caught in his throat.
Yeah.
You hear him have to clear his throat and like almost like choke on it.
Yeah.
And gag on his own
man.
laughter. It's really bizarre. And there are a bunch of shots where they just sit the camera in front of Joaquin Phoenix and let him choke out some laughter in a way that seems uncontrollable. And it's kind of interesting.
Right.
And honestly, it's if you took that element and applied it to a more heightened reality fun Joker, it would be so much more scary. And especially if the Joker thought that he was making people laugh when he made them cry. Like, what if he was so disconnected that he was hurting people and interpreting their guttural sounds as laughter? They were enjoying what he was doing.
Oh, my God.
How scary is that?
That's a very scary idea.
But if you take that and you apply that to, like, you know, a comic book or something like that, it's heightened and it's messed up.
Right.
But it's not as sad as the movie. And the movie's just sad.
Although it might be sad, because if that were the case and the Joker thought he was making people laugh, that would mean that the Joker's motivation at his core was good, but that he was accidentally doing a bad thing. So that is sad.
Yeah, I guess that means two things to me. One, there's that the Joker literally is disconnected from reality and he thinks he's entertaining people when he murders them.
Right.
Or more, what I actually think would be kind of fun is he damn well knows the difference.
Yeah.
But this is his excuse.
And
this is his way to provoke.
That would be,
This is his way to disturb people intentionally. Look at what I'm doing. No, I leave them happy.
Yeah. No, they're good.
They make?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's good.
It travels up to the rafters.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good.
He ends up back in Arkham Asylum and wants to escape. I don't know. There's just like a bunch of like Jokery kinds of stuff.
Right.
But then they did kind of what I think they did with Batman in the Christopher Nolan movies, where it's like these characters had been really heightened and enjoyable, and you didn't think about them all that much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really need to know that Batman had to order 1,000 of his cowl to
I
be
mean,
able
it's
to
kind
get
of
away.
fun and cool, though.
It is,
Yeah.
but it also demystifies in a way that it's hard for me to forget that side of it and
Yeah.
get back to just like, yeah, Batman's the world's greatest detective. Would
I
you
think
call
those
him the
things
world's
live in-
greatest detective in those movies?
No, but I think that doesn't live in those movies. I think that I could see a different kind of Batman and think of that as the world's greatest detective, and that's a different kind of Batman than those Christopher Nolan movies.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, they just live in separate things for me.
I guess that's true. But the ways that I experience these kinds of things, I just think the Joker does a similar thing. Let's give him a quantifiable mental illness.
Well, yeah,
Let's
it's
give him
also,
a bunch. Let's see his trauma.
It's
The movie
also
is about
different,
trauma.
right? It's also different because seeing Batman order all his cowls is a very different thing than seeing the Joker's horrible trauma and either mental and or physical
Right.
problems.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like one is like, okay, I guess you can't unsee that. And one is like, oh God.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
know?
It's true. It's true. Either way, it changes the way that I think of those characters and makes it less about escapism and fun and more about let's justify.
Yeah. For not that I've seen it, but for Joker, for sure. I think that the Batman movies can still be escapism and fun, even with the realism. But it sounds like the Joker really brings it down.
Really brings it down. Really kind of an interesting movie. I went in with the intent of sitting in the back row and taking notes. And at a certain point, I just kind of couldn't keep my eyes off the screen.
Yeah. Well, he's a great actor.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is really impressive in the movie. But boy, your interpretation of like, don't go in because you're not going to have fun
Yeah.
is so right.
Yeah, it just looks miserable.
It's just sad. And
Yeah.
it keeps a steady. There's a rise when he becomes the Joker that was fun for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Until he starts talking to Robert De Niro, whose name is Murray something.
Yeah.
Murray something or other. And he keeps
I think
calling
it's
him.
Murray Hill.
Okay. He keeps
Could be
calling
wrong.
him Murray,
Oh, okay.
which is really annoying to me because it
Sick
doesn't
dig.
mean anything.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah.
well, Murray.
Yeah.
And I was like, this stinks now. Like, what is he? It's not like Ray is something to put emphasis on to.
Is it a disrespectful burn because he's not pronouncing his name right?
I don't know. I don't know a lot
Yeah.
of what this is for. And ultimately, the movie just doesn't seem to really be making a point unless you, honestly, there's a way of interpreting the movie as like, yeah, this is the end result of people not being nice to each other and they get what they deserve. You're not invited to think of him as a hero,
Yeah.
but you're also not meant to think of him as a monster.
Right.
And so it leaves you in this icky middle ground, which I assume is the intent.
Yeah,
But also
that's
just doesn't feel
definitely
like
what
a
I
particular
figured.
statement to me,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't feel like something that I can really sink my teeth into, which ultimately is probably going to be the reason why this movie sticks in my head a little bit longer. And
Yeah.
if that's been one of my criteria, should I keep thinking about a movie or not? It's fulfilling that box. I won't forget about this movie. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, no spoilers anymore.
All right.
All right, everybody.
All right, guys. So we'll be back next week with the more cinematic side of Joker. And until then, you can find us everywhere at GTTU Pod. You can find me online at Chillin' Kristen. You can
I
find
am
Will.
at The Myth Traveler.
That's right.
And thank you all so much for hanging out
Yeah,
with us.
thank you.
We really hope that you had a good time. There's so much to get into this with this character.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk next week. Maybe in the intervening week. You know, I went to go see Joker for this show, a movie I had zero intention of seeing.
Yeah.
Maybe I will watch Suicide Squad for the next one.
Maybe I would. I don't know. I don't even know what's worth it because seriously, you can find all of the clips on YouTube. He's in it for like 20 minutes.
Then how about this? A compromise.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't watch Suicide Squad. Maybe I will look up all the Joker update segments that the Mega 64 podcast did
Fantastic.
in the lead up to the release of Suicide Squad.
Fantastic.
Because they covered all the insane news about how Jared
Yeah.
Leto was sending people bullets and pigs in the
Yeah.
mail and stuff, and they made fun of the spectacle of it all, and it was great.
Right.
Everybody go look up the Mega 64 podcast.
I'll have
look
to
up,
watch that too. That sounds
look up
great.
the Joker updates. They're
Yeah.
so good.
It's so crazy.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Thanks again. We'll see you next week for more Guide to the Unknown. But until that time comes, I hope we put a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah.
Say something jokery.
God, I'm choking. Well, I hope we improve the paintings. The Joker doesn't say that. The lady says it.
No.
Hubba, 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 money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me?
What, you shouldn't
Or
have said that
Will.
last. You shouldn't have said the last
Yeah.
part. I was gonna go Guide to the Unknown.
Oh. Well,
Hubba, 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 money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me? You got lost by the end of that. That's great.
that's what he says.
It is what he says.
Let's just
What does he say?
nothing. I have to go lie in a circle of knives now, like the Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to.
Don your purple suit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put on a purple suit and dance around. I'm gonna go dance on the stairs
Yeah,
like Jared Leto.
yeah.
A lot of dancing in that movie. All right, everybody, we'll see you next
And
week.
Suicide Squad?
Oh no, I'm sorry. Joaquin Phoenix does a lot of dancing.
Okay.
I feel like this has been a great show and it fell apart in the last 2 minutes. All right, we must travel.
Back to Netherworld go we. Bye.
Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money,
Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money.
do you trust?
Everybody's favorite Joker line.
Maybe I'll watch Batman 1989.
Oh,
I
man.
have not seen Batman 1989 nor The Dark Knight in quite a long time.
I highly recommend it. I went on a kick like earlier
Oh,
this
that's
year.
right.
Mhm.
I straight up have been avoiding the Christopher Nolan movies.
They're great.
I loved them at the time.
No reason to fear.
Loved them at the time, and now I can only think of them
Mm-hmm.
as being tan and long.
I think they're tan and we're like
They're all like sepia.
blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think of everything as being like a bunch of browns.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Gray. They're definitely dull.
To all you sycophants.
Yeah,
To all
you-
fake friends.
Yeah.
You suck.
Leave me. Please. Leave me.
Oh, that would be a great ending.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Just go. No.
Yeah.
Don't look around. Don't laugh.
It's not a joke.
Just go. It's not a joke.
So good. Oh, they're so good. Diana, I've deliberately not seen the new trailer for Knives Out because I read that it gives away too much.
Oh, does it?
I read a bunch of warnings that said don't watch the trailer.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
confirm he's a weirdo? Yeah.
You met Jared Leto?
Yeah, I've heard he's a major weirdo and not a good person.
Look at my skunk thing. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. It's not like that in real life.
Holy,
It's not a skunk thing, but it's very gray in the front now.
holy guacamole.
Yeah, it looks like a skunk stripe on camera.
My hair looks very gray on camera right now.
Yeah. It doesn't look like a stripe in real life, but it
Really?
does look like very
Ooh.
gray in the front.
From now on, I want you to all call me Stripe. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you had fun. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.